Do we have a lot of content for you on a glorious and gorgeous afternoon in downtown Charlottesville? Glenn Youngkin caught with his pants down. Proverbially, right? Not literally. Got caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Metaphorically, not literally. Youngkin's top lieutenant quits late last week. And over the weekend, the governor of Virginia says, you know what? I'm backtracking. I'm going to do a little double talk here, and I'm going to say John Reid, the conservative talk show host, a man who openly speaks about his sexuality, and his partner of 8 years, Youngkin, has now said, John Reid's all right by me. We'll give him a shot at lieutenant governor as he tries to salvage what is a ravaged GOP ticket in a very important election year for Republicans in the Commonwealth of Virginia. A lot we're going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about the news we broke. Friday? Did you see CBS 19 followed our reporting? Some other old media followed what we reported. Michie Tavern, Judah Wickower, is for sale. The business and the real estate. I want to talk about that on today's show. What's the best use for Michie Tavern? Do you keep it the same? Do you change it? How do you improve it? Who's the buyer of Michie Tavern? Got some information for you potentially today on the I Love CVille Show. A lot we're going to cover on the program, ladies and gentlemen, including a project that I don't think anyone really is understanding the magnitude and the momentum of. Greystar, and I put a snapshot of this on the I Love CVille Network before the show started. Ladies and gentlemen, Greystar, an international real estate development company with $76 billion with a B in gross assets under management across 17 countries, and that's a 2023 number, ladies and gentlemen. They are bringing to market the Old Ivy residences on the 250 bypass and off Old Ivy Road. When you're on the bypass, close to St. Anne's Belfield, right off of Old Ivy Road, and you see those massive 8 acres that all the trees have been knocked down, and it's just this big, 8 acres of red Virginia clay. Well, here's what's coming there. 336 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments. 189 3-bedroom detached homes and townhomes. This is literally a small city that Greystar is building. In fact, Judah, and I should have mentioned this before the show started, I posted on my Facebook page, It's the top post on my Facebook page, a picture of what the project is going to look like. If you could grab that picture so we can put it on screen for the viewers and listeners, that would be amazing. All right. The Old Ivy residence, this Greystar project, the construction's already started, and the first units are slated for delivery second quarter of next year. So we're about a year away from the first units, being ready for the community. And this is a for rent community. This is not purchase community. This is you are renting either these 189 detached homes and townhouses or these 336 apartments. Listen to the amenities that are offered on this 8-acre parcel, and I want to talk about it on the show. 2 clubhouses, 2 swimming pools, 2 fitness centers, multiple playgrounds, sports courts everywhere, basketball courts, pickleball courts, tennis courts, dog parks, a walking trail, a massive putting green, a co-working space, a library, a golf simulator, and they're doing a farmer's market, a food and sundries market. This is a small town that Greystar is building on the 250 bypass. And if you don't think a small town that is eventually going to be home to thousands of people is going to have a strain on schools, roads, public utilities, and our quality of life, then, ladies and gentlemen, you are being seduced by the activists in this community that like to dangle buzzwords like affordable housing and increasing supply to stabilize prices. That's what's best for Albemarle and Charlottesville. All that is crapola, ladies and gentlemen. Hogwash, buzzwords used by elected officials and activists to get what they want. This is going to bring nothing but quality of life trouble. I want to talk about it on the I Love CVille show. You got that photo?
Yeah.
You got to put it on screen?
Yeah.
You can put it on screen right now?
It's on.
Oh, it's on screen. Gosh, Judah Wickower, you're really doing a great job. What do you make of what you see right there? This is on the bypass. Judah, this is basically a miniature old trail on the bypass.
Mm-hmm. It certainly is massive.
It's effing massive.
And
on the bypass. I mean, that corridor, that little gateway, is already a cluster duck quack, quack, quack. And then you're going to add thousands of people living right there to it? It's just absolutely bananas, folks. We'll talk about it on today's program. Go back to, fantastic. I had a great experience, my family and I, at John Shabe's Pro Nata Brewery in Crozet over the weekend. Cody Purvis was playing. My two boys and my wife and I, first we started on the playground as the boys had to get their willies out. We were drinking, I had the Skyline IPA. My wife had the Hop Drone, and it was just absolutely great beer. My boys were playing on the playground as we were drinking beers. It was a beautiful day. We went from the playground to inside. We saw John there. We saw Brian Combs there. We saw Joe Reid. The place was packed with music lovers. My boys wanted to get a taste of Cody Purvis and country music, so we listened to Purvis, who played originals and covers. Then we went to Shave and Pro Renata's back bar. The back bar's been remodeled and reimagined, and I want to give some props to the Pro Renata team. I love the intimacy of this lounge that they built in the corner, perfect for watching sports. They made the bar a little bit bigger. Moo-Through is no longer there. In place of Moo-Through is a pinball, is a collection of pinball machines, Judah.
Nice.
Some of the best pinball machines I've ever seen right there at Pro Renata. I mean, I got to hand it to the PRN team. They are doing this the right way. They have a playground. They have music. They have multiple music venues. They have really good beer. They've really upped the beer quality of late. They got one of the best settings at the foothills of the Blue Ridge. Fire pits and cornhole everywhere. I mean, it is truly an omni-experiential brewery. And I just want to salute those guys for just building this destination for music lovers, beer lovers, and families alike. I sincerely mean that. Had a great time over the weekend. I hope they hear what I said. I sincerely mean that. A lot I want to cover on today's show, ladies and gentlemen, including City Council being asked to fund 16 more bus drivers. That'll take 82 in total, Judah, for Charlottesville. 16 more bus drivers. When does the ask for money stop from local government? When do elected officials say to taxpayers, hey, you know what? You guys are hurting. I'm hurting. You're hurting. Everything's more expensive. Assessments, tax rates, personal property, floating debt, groceries. Fuel still hasn't dropped to pre-COVID levels. You guys are hurting. Let's take a break on taxing you guys. No. Local government wants more. Take Albemarle County, for example. Did you know that the county executive lives in my former stomping grounds, the gated community of Glebmore? We don't live there anymore. We live more on the west side of town now. County executive of Albemarle County lives over there. And he's saying to supervisors, Albemarle County supervisors, you know what? Despite the fact that Albemarle County residents are dying the death of 1,000 cuts, let's ask them for even more money by raising the tax rate 4 cents. And let's raise the tax rate 4 cents at a time where groceries are more expensive than they've ever been. Americans are more saddled with credit card debt than they've ever been. Many in this community are uncertain of their professional future, with the Department of Government Efficiency making cuts left and right or requiring people to return back to office in the D.C. area. So many folks on the teat of government supply chain in Albemarle County. So they're feeling extremely vulnerable and uncertain. How about the University of Virginia? 3% cost of living raise, guys, is frozen. Performance-based bonuses are frozen. Hiring freeze is going on right now. And they're talking about cutting people's pay. Still, Albemarle County wants more money from you. They don't read the tea leaves or read the room that assessments went up. nearly double digits on average across the county. No, 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 no. We need the money to fund affordable housing. Make it make sense. How does taxing people more money, asking them for more money, make the county affordable? Make it make sense, Judah. I want more money from you, Albemarle County, for the sake, Judah, of affordability. Make it make sense. A 4-cent tax rate, guys, uptick is no joke. We'll talk about that on the I Love CVille show, guys. A lot I want to cover on the program. I want to highlight one of our partners, Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, Judah, 60 consecutive years in business for the Vermillions. John Vermillion and Andrew Vermillion, great people. Honest, communicative. I've seen it firsthand. We're opening the pool at our house. We had our friend Dave Fafar over there. He does a fantastic job with pools. Pulling the cover off the pool today. The water was as blue gets because Dave, John, and Andrew know what they're doing. Charlottesville Sanitary Supply, 60 consecutive years in business on East High Street and online at charlottesvillesanitarysupply.com. Can't wait to jump into that swimming pool. Can't wait to jump in there. Judah Wickower, 2-shot. Weave you in the mix. What's with the double take from Youngkin? Put that lower third on screen if you could. Glenn Youngkin, last week, Judah, about a week ago, right? Mm-hmm. He's got ties and links to sextortion, and phony Tumblr accounts, and using pictures of sex and it's fact here, gay porn against a candidate on the GOP ticket, John Reid. Youngkin said, Youngkin's campaign, Youngkin's team, they're like, we don't want this John Reid guy being a lieutenant governor. We wanted old Harity out of Fairfax County who dropped out of the race, citing health concerns. We thought Pat in Fairfax County was going to win the Republican primary. We didn't think John Reid was going to win. We thought Pat Harity was going to win. We didn't know Pat Harity was going to piece out of the race because of health issues. Now we're left with Reid and no one to challenge him? We got to see if we can get Reid out of there. So Youngkin's lieutenant has this cockamamie scheme of sextortion and Tumblr accounts and pictures and sex to try to get someone to drop out of a race. They did not anticipate John Reid saying, I'm staying in the race. And now over the weekend, Glenn Youngkin, who's had a very rough 2025, guys, an extremely challenging 2025. Now Youngkin, his lieutenant quits his pack.
Yep.
His lieutenant pieces out, hits the road, Jack, and Youngkin is left licking his wounds and looking a fool, saying, you know what, upon further thought, I'm going to back John Reid, and I'm going to try to stabilize the grand old party of Virginia because it has been ravaged by my backroom wheeling and dealing, my conniving and undermining and underhanding behavior. What do you make of the Youngkin news?
I mean, he's not batting 1,000.
He's struggling.
He's this is the second person he's asked to leave a post, or not necessarily a post in this case, but when he asked Bert Ellis to leave the post that he had appointed him to, and now asking the only Republican candidate.
He had no other choice to do this.
For lieutenant governor.
He didn't think this through. He tries to blackmail Reid to drop out of the race. Reid says, no, I'm not going to drop out of the race, and I'm going to sue you guys for defamation of character. And that causes Youngkin, you jump in here, that causes Youngkin to basically say, good God, someone's got to be the fault guy because our plan backfired. I'm going to make my lieutenant the fall guy. He's going to quit. And then after he quits, I have to tell everyone, goodness gracious, great balls of fire, John Reid needs to stay. Basically the mea culpa from Youngkin that he made a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the whole thing actually energized John Reid's, supporters, his base. They came out fully in support of him, and his his video recording with his statement about not giving this up. Must have done the job.
Unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. A once presidential candidate, a governor that had the Midas touch, that could have run for president when the Trump second term was done. He could have used, I took Virginia out of COVID. He could have used the strength of the economy. He could have used all the job creation done in the Commonwealth. He could have used the fact that he beat McAuliffe in a purple state, a bellwether state. He could have used the fact that he was a middle-of-the-road Republican to springboard a move, a push into the White House. And in the last 5 months, 4 months, really, we're only in May, he's had the Burt Ellis debacle. He's had the tour of national television where he said he crushed diversity, equity, inclusion at UVA. Hey, last I heard, it's still going on at UVA, to the point where the Department of Justice issued a letter to Jim Ryan and the Board of Visitors that if you don't make these changes, you guys are going to get the hammer dropped on you, and it's the federal government talking here, not Youngkin talking.
And didn't he say it was gone like a day before Burt Ellis?
Literally touting it was gone a day before he cans Burt Ellis. And right before Burt Ellis says, no, Youngkin, you're wrong.
Yeah, there's work to be done.
Now,
it is not gone.
Now Youngkin has ads in the Richmond Times-Dispatch and the Daily Progress commissioned by the Jefferson Council where Jim Ryan's nana-nana-booing. Do you have that ad still? You can put on screen?
Let me see.
Where Jim Ryan's nana-nana-booing Glenn Youngkin in print. Kind of a genius move by the Jefferson Council. The artwork, both Judah and I said, could have been a lot better. I know for a fact Judah, if he was asked to do it, would have executed a much better drawing than this, because the man's Savannah College of Art and Design and a very talented individual. You got that artwork?
Yep.
Is it on screen?
Yeah, there we go.
Man, you're batting 1,000 today. Youngkin's not batting 1,000. Judah's batting 1,000. Look at the screen, viewers and listeners. I love the ad. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that they're going after Youngkin there. The execution could have been a little bit better. I'm not trying to throw shade over there at you, Jefferson Council, unless the execution intentionally was done kind of, haphazardly to attract attention. But I don't think that was the intent.
Who knows?
Who knows? You appreciate the ad, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate the ad. Logan Wells Kalelo watching the program, her photo on screen. She said she just received notice that a road is blocked near Bel Air Market due to an overturned lumber truck, which was obviously going to the Greystar site. You need to take the next exit to get on 250. I actually passed this accident, Judah, on the way to the studio today. I had meetings this morning with contractors on that side of town for projects we're working on. And as I'm driving to the studio, I'm passing Bel Air Market down Ivy Road. A humongous tractor trailer carrying enough lumber to frame, multiple houses. Tried to make that turn at Bel Air Market. You know, it's a hard right. Make that hard right there at Bel Air Market like you're trying to get on the bypass.
So is he heading?
He's heading west.
Out to Ivy?
He's heading out to Ivy West.
And he tries to take a right to go under the bridge?
Yeah, try to go right under the bridge.
That's more than a hard right. That's practically a U-turn.
That's a U-turn. Now, think about it. Going to that Greystar site is so difficult because you can't do it over there under the underpass, the initial one.
There's a bridge no matter where you go.
Anywhere you go, you're having to go under a bridge for some capacity. So he makes the hard right. He cuts the right too sharply and literally tips sideways over. Oh. All the lumber spills off the truck. The truck is teetering off the road. VDOT's got multiple men on screen. Albemarle County police cruisers everywhere. Traffic backed up for a mile and change going west toward Crozet. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a microcosm of this Greystar project. Put that lower third on screen and put that picture back on screen. Ladies and gentlemen, who greenlit a small town being built on the bypass off of Old Ivy Road by an international real estate development company called Greystar Real Estate Partners? Who greenlit this project? Chad Wood, it was great to see you at Pro Renata yesterday. I'm going to get to your comments. Bill McChesney, Kevin Yancey. I'm going to get to your comments here in a matter of moments. Viewers and listeners, like and share the show. James Watson, Rob Neal, Bill McChesney, Mike Pruitt, Colleen Tyler, Bobby Shada, Gary Palmer. Welcome to the program. Just a few people watching the broadcast. Jason Noble. I love when you're interacting with the I Love CVille Network. Jason Noble. Judah. Housing for thousands. Housing for thousands. Mm-hmm. And no one but the I Love CVille show is talking about it. No one is talking about that it's housing for thousands in a rental capacity.
Yeah.
This isn't housing for thousands in a purchase capacity.
Right.
This is housing for thousands that's only going to take Greystar, an international real estate magnate, and make them even richer. $76 billion with a B in gross assets under management in 17 countries as of 2023. Somebody let the fox into the hen house. And that fox is Greystar. And that hen house is us stupid Charlottesvillians and Albemarle Countyans that got hoodwinked by activists who bullied council and supervisors into thinking any kind of additional supply is good for affordability. Explain to me, Judah, viewers and listeners, how housing for thousands, 336 apartments, 189 three-bedroom townhomes and detached houses for rent is going to create housing affordability. Someone explain it to me. Someone make it make sense. How is that going to create housing affordability? How is the supervisors of Albemarle County, and hold them all accountable, ladies and gentlemen, considering a 4-cent real estate tax rate increase going to create a housing affordability for Albemarle County when assessments pop nearly 10% on average across the county? Now,
in terms of that, I think it's probably a juggling act they're looking at. We're talking about, I don't necessarily know about Albemarle County, but City Council is talking about grants to low and moderate income city homeowners. Albemarle County, if they were to do the same kind of thing, you might say that it's a way of juggling taxes while giving some of it back to the people that can't afford the taxes.
Take the Greystar project. Are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take the Greystar project. The project's called Old Ivy Residence. Mm-hmm. Put that photo back on screen from time to time, then come back to us. 336 apartments, 189 three-bedroom detached houses and townhomes. 15% of them, 15%, 1/5 of the residents are reserved for households earning less than 80% area median income. Let's take out the old trusty calculator, okay?
Yeah.
Let's go. What's area median income? Judah's a very smart man.
I believe we've talked about it being at 125,800.
125,800. Judah is batting 1,000 today. He's killing it. Only man I've ever met in the middle of summer when it's 80-some degrees that's got an undershirt on with a button-down long-sleeve shirt on and a very sharp-looking cardigan on as well.
It's not a cardigan, but we're inside.
It's a sweater. You're wearing a sweater, a button-down shirt, and an undershirt, and I'm wearing a rowback golf shirt that's basically like having no clothes on. That's what makes the show great here. It's the odd couple right here. But let's just use our calculator, okay, J-Dubs? 125,800. Let's use the metric 80%. Let's say it's earning less than 80% area median income. How deep below 80% do you think that they're going to go? 79.9%?
You mean
Greystar?
You mean how affordable will these places really be?
Yeah. They're saying houses, 15% of the residents are reserved for households earning less than 80% area median income.
Which is actually pretty high.
Extremely high. Let's just use 80%. 125,800 times 0.8. That means the family household is making $100,640. So if I'm Greystar, remember, Albemarle County, Charlottesville, they let the fox into the hen house. Somehow they've greenlit a project on a bypass that has entries to this project that are so precarious and dangerous that tractor trailers, when navigating roadways next to Bel Air, where Mason Pickett holds signs up. Old Mason Pickett, I saw him this morning. Man was roasting. He looked like a sun-dried tomato out there in the Bel Air parking lot under the Virginia sun, holding a sign up. Leftist professors suck is what his sign said today. Oh, Mason Pickett. Love him or hate him, you always know Mason Pickett's there. So Pickett's over there on the asphalt at Bel Air Market. I'm like, Mason, dude, do you want me to get you a Keswick from inside Bel Air Market? Do you want me to get you a Minuteman Imperial Stout? Do you want me to get you an ice cold beer? He's like, Jerry, it's 10:45 in the morning. Oh, sorry, it's a little too early to be drinking beer. I'm like, well, Mason, you're roasting here like a sun-dried tomato, like a California raisin on the asphalt of Bel Air. He goes, I know, but I'm holding my sign. Leftist professor sucks. I got to do my job. I'm like, Mason, you're not getting paid for this, Mason. You're driving from Stanton here, Mason, to sit in a chair and have people honk at you, very few in support, honk at you and giving you the one-finger salute. And he goes, I'm doing my job, Jerry. I'm doing my job. I'm like, okay, Mason. So Mason's sitting right there. He's got a vantage point of a tractor trailer coming west down Ivy Road. And this tractor trailer has this conundrum, Judah. I got all this lumber for this project that's 336 apartments and 189 townhomes and detached houses. And I got to get this lumber to this 8-acre site because they got to build these putting greens and these swimming pools and these playgrounds and these pickleball courts and these dog parks and these clubhouses and these fitness centers and these farmers markets, Judah. Mm. So this is what the guy, I saw him, it was a Hispanic truck driver. This is what he had to do. He's like, do I take the right after the car wash and the Papa John's? I can't take the right after the car wash and the Papa John's because my truck won't fit under the underpass, right? So instead, he chooses to go up the road and take the hard right on Bel Air. And as Judah very aptly described it, that's just not a right turn. That's a complete U-turn.
Yeah. So
he takes an 18-wheeler holding enough lumber to frame what? The Albemarle County Courthouse that they're building, enough lumber to frame the Carlton Trailer Park on behalf of Habitat for Humanity and Dan Rosenzweig and Sunshine Mathon. He's taken that U-turn to the Greystar site, and he literally tips off the road. The truck, Judah, tipped off the road.
I'm curious if he would have even made it underneath that overpass.
I would hope to God he's tried that before. The truck is literally teetering off the road as if it was a seesaw. It's literally like somebody that's on a high dive, and they get to the edge of the high dive with their feet on the edge, and they're going like this, and they're like, should I jump or not? All the lumber fell off the truck and crashed down on the side of the road. All the lumber.
Did it fall away from the road?
No, it fell toward the U-turn.
Oh my goodness.
That literally is happening right now. There's an Albemarle County cruiser on the site, and as I was driving by, I saw him talking to the driver, and he's like this, what did you do? Multiple VDOT vehicles were there. Traffic was backed up well past the Boar's Head, well past the university shops, the car wash, well past Moe's Barbecue. Here's the effing crazy thing for Albemarle County and Charlottesville. Are you ready for this? At the very same time that they're building 336 apartments and 189 three-bedroom detached houses and townhomes at the Greystar site, 8 acres, they're building a 10 or 12-story building next to Moe's Barbecue. Literally so close to Moe's that a chain link fence and a caution cone are touching Moe's Barbecue. That construction is all happening at the very same time. It's happening at the exact same time that Subtex is building 1,300 homes, 1,300 apartments in the shadows of Scott Stadium.
Yeah.
And it's happening at the exact same time that the University of Virginia is going to start building housing for second years on Ivy Road so they can start living second years in university housing.
Yeah.
What the hell are we doing? Eventually, as residents, do we stop acquiescing, or eventually, as taxpayers, do we push back and say, these activists that are screaming for more housing, these people are a scourge. They are crushing quality of life. They are crushing our lives. It's like the bubonic plague. It's like scurvy. Housing scurvy, Judah.
Housing scurvy.
We got housing scurvy going on right now. And all we're doing is getting riddled with it. Why is nobody talking about this? And why does no one push back? Let's say 15% of the project and call it affordable housing so we can get it greenlit by government. Oh, that 15%, median family income for that 15%, it's going to be $100,000. Almost 101,000. We're going to call it affordable, though.
I mean,
make it make sense, somebody.
So I have a question. Who's the one that decides that 80% of AMI is affordable? Because it would seem like 80% is a pretty high number.
If I'm the government, if I'm the developer, and obviously this company has it dialed in, right? This company has it dialed in because they have $76 billion in assets. Mm. Oh, the Queen of Ivy sent me a text of what's going on. Gosh, Queen of Ivy, thank you very much. Kate, thank you for sending me this. Judah, what's the best way I'm going to Facebook message you this.
Yeah.
I'm going to Facebook message this to Judah. This is Kate's picture of what is going on Bel Air right now. You're going to have to zoom in right there. This is thank you, Kate, Queen of Ivy. I literally drove by this today. This is going to be going on for the next year, ladies and gentlemen. This is literally going to be going on for the next year. Tell me when you can get that photo on screen. Can you zoom in on it? Or is that going to take too long to edit before you can get it on screen?
No, I can do a little zoom in the app.
Oh, you're such a fantastic human being. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Judah. Comments, put them in the screen, relay them live on air. Clever question from Judah, Deep Throat says. Number one in the family is watching the program. Hello, number one in the family. I was late getting to the studio today, so I did not have a chance to respond to the very creative video you put together about Kevin Cox petitioning for more sidewalks around the city. I will respond to you shortly, Deep Throat. He has multiple comments, Deep Throat does. He says, a very clever question from Judah. I pointed this out over and over to the city officials. Reliance on area median income as the metric for affordability is stupid. That's his words.
Because as AMI goes up, less people are going to be coming even close to that 80%.
God, dude, why are you not like this every day? Can you be like this every day?
I can try.
You're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
Seriously,
I have a photo ready.
You have the photo already ready?
Yeah.
Goodness
it's already
gracious,
ready already.
Judah. Thank you. Put the photo on screen. Judah's doing great work. Look at the screen. This is from the Queen of Ivy herself. The photo's on screen?
Yeah.
This is a tipped over. I'll give you. I saw this firsthand today driving. I literally saw this at 12:10 p.m. today, an hour ago. What you are seeing is a tractor trailer that was driving. Is it a pile of lumber? Is it a bushel of lumber?
It's not a bushel.
Is
this image facing north? Are we looking north? In this
She's looking
photo?
across the way, probably from the Bel Air entrance.
Gotcha.
Bel Air neighborhood entrance.
So this would be looking north.
So
that would be west. That would be east.
God, you're a man of directions too.
No, I mean you.
This is looking north. You're exactly right. With west to the left of the photo. If you look on screen, you see a tractor trailer that is half off the road. Some of the wheels are off the road because it's seesawing, teeter-tottering off the road. Put the thing back on screen. This numbnuts decided to make a U-turn with a tractor trailer. Is it a bushel? Is it a bushel of wood?
I don't think you would call
Is
it
it
a bushel.
a plank? What is it? Is it a lot of wood? Do I just call it a lot of wood?
Yeah.
Is it a lot of wood? Someone's going to take that in the wrong direction over there. Taking a hard right, all the lumber spills over. Look how big of a tow truck they needed to get the truck back on the road. The tow truck is bigger than an expedition.
Yeah.
And Deep Throat makes the point, using area median income. You know who wins when area median income is used as the metric to determine affordability? Who's the winner?
Developers?
God, Judah's batting 1,000. He's still going on. If you're Greystar and you're able to do this, guys, let's trick these supervisors and let's trick these counselors and let's see if we could hoodwink them. And let's see if we can get the metric to be tied to area median income. And if we can negotiate the deal in 2000 for AMI, they're going to think that the prices are going to be set on 2000s, the year 2020, AMI. But we're really not going to come to market until 2026. And we know every year the AMI is going to go up. And every year after that, the AMI is going to go up. And if we tie it to 80% area median income, that's still $101,000 we're renting to people, their family household income. We can charge them, ladies and gentlemen, $5,000 a month, $4,000 a month. And we can have all these units as build to rent. We're not going to sell any of them. And if we do it the right way, 336 apartments plus 189 houses, a total of 525 units. What do we think is the average? This is a great question for Deep Throat. Deep Throat, of the 525 units that Greystar is renting, what do you think the average rent is on these 525, Deep Throat? Just out of curiosity. That's above my pay grade right there. Do we say the average rent on those 525 Deep Throat is $4,000 a month? That's a great question for Rob Neal. That's in your pay grade there, Rob. Do we say the average rent on those 525 units is $4,000 a month? What is the average rent on those 525 units? Deep Throat, throw me a number here in DM. Right in your wheelhouse right there. He says, I think it would vary because of the sizes, but I would say, give me a number, flat number per month, Deep Throat. $4,000 a month? $3,500 a month? Let's just use for the sake of a talk show. $3,500 a month rent for the 525 units. So 525 times 3,500. Make sure we got the right lower third on screen. Which lower third are we rocking up there? Greystar?
Yep.
Gosh, you're batting 1,000. I'm going to say 35. Okay, he said between 3,000 and 4,000. So maybe I do know this. I do. This is how I make my living. He said between 3,000 and 4,000. I chose 3,500. So 525 times 3,500. These MFers are collecting $1,835,500 in rent per month. Let's times that by 12 months. These MFers are collecting $22,050,000 in rent in 1 year. Greystar is no dummy. Let's tie this project to area median income and make it look like perception is reality. We can trick these activists and say, we'll give you 15% of this project. Tie to 80% AMI. Wink, wink, wink. Activists, can they add?
Stop.
Sorry. I appreciate it. Okay. Activists can add. They know how to do multiplication. I'm sorry. But they obviously were okay with this. 525 units times 3,500 is $1,837,500 in rent per month. Times 12 months in a year, $22,050,000 in rent in the first year of max occupancy. In a 10-year period of time, Greystar will have generated nearly $250 million in rent on an 8-acre site on the bypass. I'm going to say that number again. And that's with a 3,500 number not incrementally increasing 5% every year like all landlords do.
That's also if they can fill them all.
That's a great question. And Judah Wicker was very smart to ask that question because
UVA is pulling out an entire grade from...
second years are going to be required to live in student housing.
Yeah.
Housing that they're building on Old Ivy Road.
Which they currently were not using, which means that they're
second years,
pulling them out of...
I went to UVA. My second year, I lived in student housing, Lambeth Commons, right off of Rugby Road.
Yeah.
Some second years live in housing that's owned by UVA.
Yeah. So
not all second
years.
years.
Not pulling them all out.
Not pulling them all out. But Judah makes a really good point. And it's happening at the same time that Subtex is doing 1,300 units in the shadows of Scott Stadium. Mm-hmm. And it's happening at the same time that the Elysian in the shops of Stonefield can't get rented, right?
Yeah.
Now, as a counter to that counter, we do know incremental population increases tied to the data science school and the Paul Manning biotech.
So.
But to counter that counter's counter, is it counter the counter of the counter? To counter the counter of the counter, the data science school and the Paul Manning Biotech Institute, they're going to attract incremental population increase that's wealthy. And the incremental population increase that's wealthy, maybe 1 year they rent as they figure out where they want to live, but eventually those people are going to be buying homes because they're going to be making some bank.
Yeah.
And when you're making some bank, you're not spending $3,500 a month in rent. Wealthy don't stay wealthy or get wealthy by paying $3,500 a month in rent. Just, it's the nature of life. It's called the capitalist, the Darwinistic nature of capitalism. Effing crazy. Just crazy. A couple other comments coming in. This also from Deep Throat. A small city with access only to Old Ivy Road, apparently. There was already a traffic jam on the southeastern end railroad underpass today. Put that photo back up by the Queen of Ivy. He says that it's crazy that there's no outlet to Sandridge. It's funny that stuff like this goes in, and still the livable CVille nitwits keep chanting that the city and county make multifamily housing more and more and more and more of it. Those were his words. Those weren't my words, Judah. You didn't say stop the deep throat.
What am I going to do?
You didn't say stop the deep throat. You said stop to me.
Yeah, but
you called them nitwits. I just said they couldn't add.
He's entitled to his opinion.
But I'm not entitled? I can't say they can't add?
But you know they can.
But do they know they're nitwits?
What am I going to do? Tell them to stop?
He says... He says the Greystar project was greenlit by the County Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors. We have Albemarle County Board of Supervisors watching us right now, by the way. Deep Throat says there was a decent amount of opposition related to the access issues. As usual, barely covered by local media. This was like 18 months ago. The county could have stopped this as it needed a bunch of waivers, and there was a proffer from long ago that gave the county the ability to say no. I have been covering this. I'm the only one that has been talking. Judah and I are the only ones that talk about stuff like this. We live in a media desert where the outlets of reporting are manned by 22-year-old children and weather people that like to use secret cameras to record sexual proclivity than to use for sextortion at later dates. That literally happened.
I know.
Come with me on a trip to Ireland. Come with me, the weatherman says, on a trip to Ireland. They're encouraging people to go with the weatherman on a trip to Ireland. Watch out for that man's teddy bear. You know what those eyes are. Those eyes are secret cameras. God knows what he's going to use that footage for. That literally happened.
Catch up with him in California or something?
Ohio. He went all the way to Ohio. He quit his job. Everyone was like, why is he off air? We love the guy. Why is he off air? You know what so many sad aspects of that story are? This is if you're not following Josh Fitzpatrick, the NBC 29 weatherman. Meteorologist, weatherman. What's the difference between a weatherman and a meteorologist?
One of them studies meteors. It's a joke.
I never get your humor. It's because it's so dry.
Meteorologist. Meteors. Sorry. I
never get your humor. There's so many sad aspects of that story. Obviously, the fact that he was secretly recording the sexual activity he was having with other men he was meeting on Grindr, taking the photos and the videos and using them not for money or financial gain, but to continue the sexual momentum with the men he was meeting on Grindr and having sexual interactions with. Then he decides to quit immediately, or maybe it was, fired. More to this story. Runs to Ohio, where they finally track him down Texas Ranger style, Chuck Norris style, Tracker style. My wife is watching this show on Paramount Plus. Tracker. They track him down in Ohio. They bring him back to jail in Albemarle County. Dude, don't want to be Josh Fitzpatrick in jail right now. As the guy that's in jail that secretly recorded himself with other dudes doing the duty, doing the nasty, and then using that secret recording to get other doing the nasty opportunities. The crazy aspect of that story, they say in Hall Spencer's reporting, the Daily Progress, Hall Spencer reports that in his first court appearance before he went to the judge, the prosecution, and he didn't even have a defense attorney. This came up with the prosecution. They're like, this guy, we've seen his bank account. He has no money. He has a car that barely runs. This guy literally is financially insolvent. He was living in an apartment in Eagles Landing, Judah, spending $500 a month in Eagles Landing. This shows you that NBC 29, with one of its star on-air, and I used to work at NBC 29. I know firsthand what it was like, the pay scale. With one of their star, Judah, on-air personalities, the weatherman, he had no money in his bank account, was driving a jalopy, and living in a $500 a month apartment. Mm-hmm. One of the star on-air personalities, Judah. Sad story. And you know what? How those stories generally go is more people are going to come out of the woodwork. Once there's one whistleblower, there's often other whistleblowers.
Yeah.
John Blair's got some comments. Number 2 in the family. Let's get to JB. He says this: the big problem with this project is that the property was rezoned in 1985 with a proffer that it would never have a density greater than R1 until Old Ivy Road was approved to the satisfaction of the Board of Supervisors. Therefore, this rezoning did not have to be approved as a proffer has the force of law. The BOS could have relied on that proffer and not upzoned. In 2023, the BOS made the decision to obliterate that prior proffer and upzone the property. People need to know that context. There hasn't been any serious improvement to Old Ivy since 1985. The Board of Supervisors had the ability to deny the rezoning based on that proffer, and instead the Board of Supervisors voted to upzone. Legally, the Board of Supervisors could negate the proffer, but it didn't have to, and the proffer gave them the ability to say no to the rezoning. See, this is why I love the show. I just got smarter from John. Deep Throat alludes to this in some of his direct messaging to us, and then John Blair, who knows county and city business like the Pope knows holy water, offers that context right there. Deep Throat then responds to John Blair. John Blair is leaving the comment on LinkedIn. Deep Throat on Twitter. Yes, what John Blair is saying was what I was referring to. John Blair is exactly right. Deep Throat on Twitter DM to John Blair's LinkedIn comment right there. What in the HE double hockey sticks is Albemarle County doing? They allowed a small town to be, and no media is reporting about this besides us. And we're not even media. This isn't even what we do. This is not a top 5 priority for me doing this show. Judah and I literally were late coming on air because I got into the studio at 12:26 p.m. and we came up with headlines for the program in literally 90 seconds. Judah, is that not true?
It's pretty true.
Is that not true?
Yeah, I think that's pretty true.
We literally came up with what we were going to talk about on this show 90 seconds before the show started. not in this business, and we're beating the other people at their own game. What's going on here? We're in Bizarro World. How's this for Bizarro World? Are you ready for this Bizarro World, Judah?
I'm ready.
Okay, how's this for Bizarro World? First term Donald Trump. First term in office. August 12th, 2017 happens. August 11th and August 12th, 2017.
Yeah.
Nazis are walking down the lawn. Terry Sullivan somehow allowed Nazis to walk down the lawn carrying burning torches and chanting nasty rhetoric against Jews on the lawn, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
The next day, Saturday, August 12th, City Council somehow allows the Ku Klux Klan, Nazis, and people dressed in military gear and having machine guns, armed rifles, whatever the hell they're called, on their person. Literally, the Ku Klux Klan is allowed to come to Charlottesville and chant nasty comments against Jews and people of black and brown skin. That literally happens. Some reason, Donald Trump in his first term, whether it was taken out of context, he still made the buffoon statement of saying there was good people on either side. Could have been taken out of context, Trump saying that? Maybe it wasn't. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, tomato, tomato.
It was definitely taken out of context.
Judah says it was taken out of context. I say don't make the comments. Why would you say that? It's stupid. You allowed yourself to be taken out of context. So Trump, A11, A12, says there's good people on either side. Charlottesville, Virginia revolts against Donald Trump, of course, because he made that ridiculous comment. Charlottesville becomes something that we never want to be. We live in infamy, not in Virginia, not on the East Coast or the Mid-Atlantic, but worldwide. Charlottesville is turned into it's no longer a city. It's an event. It's Nazis.
It's a meme.
It's a meme. Charlottesville becomes a meme, right? Exactly. Charlottesville becomes a meme. So here we have Trump and Nazis and this A11 and A12, and Charlottesville becomes a meme, right? Biden, when he's running against Trump in Trump's second attempt, uses Charlottesville left and right against Trump. Biden's never even stepped foot in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Yet this man is using us like he's using pomade to style his hair, toothpaste to keep cavities from coming into his molars. He's using us to beat Trump. He wins. Third term, third try, Trump wants to get on for a second term. He beats Sleepy Joe Biden. Of course he beat Joe Biden. He turned into Weekend at Bernie's. He beats Kamala Harris. Of course he beat Kamala Harris. All she could do is read a teleprompter. Of course Trump's going to beat those people. Weekend at Bernie's and someone who can only read a teleprompter. Of course Trump's going to win. Charlottesville still hates Trump. They're campaigning against Trump. They're protesting against Trump. They're doing the Elon Musk, Stonefield thing, Tesla thing, Doge thing. We live in Bizarro World. Trump gifts the city of Charlottesville a $40 to $60 million asset. Trump says, I'm going to close the Federal Executive Institute, something that's been training federal executives for 50 plus years. I'm going to close it. And then about a month later, I'm going to give to the people that hate me a $40 to $60 million asset. And now Charlottesville is taking a $40 to $60 million asset from Donald Trump, who 4 months ago, they were doing everything in their possible power to keep him from winning an election. Now Donald Trump, is he going to do a ribbon-cutting ceremony in Charlottesville and say, hey, Juan Diego Wade, B. Pink, Nat GBT, Michael Payne, Counselor Snook, head of Livable CVille and head of the teacher union, I want you to come to the Federal Executive Institute for a ribbon-cutting ceremony. We live in Bizarro World. We live in a bizarro world where in 2025, the Board of Supervisors can keep a small town from being developed on Old Ivy Road. Where the two entry points to the small town, one of them, you have to go under an underpass, and if you're a tractor trailer, you can't fit. So the other entry point to the small town requires you to do a hard U-turn. And one of the first navigations of that hard U-turn for the tractor trailer carrying enough lumber to build Sim City, he teeter-totters off the road, crashing all the lumber to the ground and closing the entry point, exit point, where St. Anne's Belfield, when school gets let out here in about 90 minutes, that's going to be a cluster duck of epic proportions.
So is the old
Bizarro
Ivy
world.
residences to the west of the off-ramp?
What's that?
Coming off 250 towards Ivy from Charlottesville.
Okay.
When you head onto the off-ramp that goes down, with Falconer on the left, and then you head underneath the is the land to the...
It's that massive, huge spot that has no trees, and all you see is red Virginia clay.
Yeah,
you can't miss it.
I'm usually paying attention to the cars in front of me when I'm coming off the...
Yes. So if you're coming from my house, right?
Yeah.
Coming from my house.
Heading
on Ivy Road.
Heading towards Charlottesville.
Heading towards Charlottesville. You take a left on Bel Air, by Bel Air Market.
Yeah.
You go down that underpass, and then you're going to take a hard left to get on the bypass. You're taking that left to go on the bypass like you're going to work.
Okay.
Or you're going to your house. And you get on the bypass, you look to your right, you'll see 8 acres of cleared trees and red Virginia clay. That's where they're building this small town.
So why would he even be coming from in town?
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
I have no idea.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around it.
I have no idea why he chose that way. Probably one of the only entries. Kevin Yancey says it's parallel to the on-ramp of the bypass. Bill McChesney said if these knuckleheads would play Sim City, they would realize that poor roads and increased taxes create degradation of communities. Absolutely. I learned that through Oregon Trail.
You have died of dysentery.
Someone's going to die of dysentery and scurvy because of this Greystar development.
Oh.
Stacey Baker Patty. She says, I saw articles that say rents would be ranging from $8,500 to $3,600. That seems light to me, Stacey Baker Patty. This is my line of work here. That seems light to me, but I appreciate your comment, though. Rob Neal says, houses for rent, that's close enough for back of envelope. Apartments will be mid to high 2s per month.
That's still a lot.
He says the houses to rent for back of the envelope, the $3,500 a month number is right on point. And he says the apartments will be mid to high 2s. I think that's also low, Rob. I'm renting the villas at Southern Ridge, and this used to be the Country Green Ghetto that got rebranded, the villas at Southern Ridge by Bart Fry, a Virginia Beach developer. Now the fractured condo complex has been purchased by Levy & Co., a REIT out of Richmond. And I'm renting my 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a den at the villas at Southern Ridge for $2,500 a month. $2,500 a month. And that's nowhere near new. And it doesn't have golf simulators, pickleball courts, putting greens, a farmer's market, 2 fitness centers, and all these other amenities that are going on. Just as a comp, though. But I appreciate your comment because I know you know this business. This comment comes in, and this person is asking for anonymity here. There is another bridge between the hairpin turn and the entry to Greystar site that is one way for the next 12 months that a normal sedan can barely fit through due to bridge work. If a truck can't do the narrow pass behind Davenport Field, then there is no way to get material to Greystar. I've noticed that. When we take our kid to school, I do the drop-off at school. That's why I'm here 2 hours before you get here. When I'm doing the drop-off at school and have him there at like 7:30, and you take that left off of Old Ivy Road, past Bel Air to get on the bypass, before you can get on the bypass there, kind of where Faulkner Drive is, like you were saying,
Yeah.
you can barely squeeze your vehicle through there. Like you legitimately, a car can barely get through there.
You're talking about underneath the overpass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, is VDOT's doing road work there. How in the HE double hockey sticks are tractor trailers going to make it through there? Bill McChesney, VDOT has announced that the Old Ivy Bridge over 250 is already on schedule to be renovated. This is just absolutely banana. We live in bizarro world. Absolute bizarro world. I mean, somebody make it make sense. Curtis Shaver, hello. What is he saying? I like when Curtis leaves a comment. Oh, Curtis is responding to my everyone comment on I Love CVille group. Thank you, Curtis, for responding to that. Philip Dow says NBC 29 has become the worst television station in the area. Jason Noble put his photo on screen. Someone call Pfizer. We need a vaccine for housing scurvy. Jason Noble, that was so funny. You know what the vaccine for housing scurvy is? Elect better and smarter people. James Watson, I've never been one of those not in my backyard people. Greystar won't actually even be near my backyard, but I cannot see how they can place that many units there without re-engineering the bridge off of Old Ivy and then creating some type of flyover for traffic getting on and off the 250 bypass. Is the target market graduate students, or is it targeting anybody willing to pay rent? I think it's both, James. Great comment from Watson. Watson's smart guy right there. I think it's both, James Watson. And to Rob Neal's point, how the hell are they going to get the materials there with tractor trailers?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to have to are they going to airlift the materials? Insanity. Bizarro world. Anything you want to add to this, Judah Wickhauer? It's 1:37. We got to make some money here.
No, I'm still trying to wrap my head around why he would go that way and not come off 250. Matthias Young?
Matthias Young watching the program. I'd love to see the traffic studies for this development if they've ever conducted traffic studies at all. Love Matthias. Mm-hmm. Very, very fantastic realtor. No doubt. Georgia Gilmer, hello. Kevin Yancey says, I've driven, Rob Neal, I've driven a semi through there. It's tight, but it will fit. Kevin Yancey's a semi-truck driver, Rob. So he said he's been able to squeeze a semi-truck through there. Oh, all right. What other topics do we have here? Some of these topics we're going to have to save till tomorrow. Somehow I filled 70 minutes on this Greystar project. Why is no one else talking about this?
I doubt most people know. Now they do.
Dude, it is absolutely shocking to me. This is absolutely shocking. I take this, I literally, you and I take for granted because we have our pulse on what's going on in the community. You and I take for granted how little the community knows of what's actually happening in this town. Mm-hmm. I do it all the time. And my wife is very quick to point that out to me. She's like, people don't know about this. Just because you know about it doesn't mean other people don't know. Other people know.
Yeah.
She's like, no, we don't know. She goes, I'm married to you. I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right. We got to save some of the other topics to tomorrow. It's 1:40. We got to go make some money. Judah Wickhauer, Jerry Miller, the I Love CVille Show. I want to highlight again, I have multiple groups of multiple sets of clients, cash buyer clients that are looking to put money on the street and buy businesses locally. Multiple ones. We'll save the Mickey Tavern news that we broke for tomorrow. If you're interested in exiting your business, you contact me. We get a percentage of the sale. I'm being upfront to you. Being upfront, we get a percentage of the deal. But we connect buyers and sellers with business owners that are looking to exit, get in and out of stuff. Okay? Multiple folks. You got there? Anything you want to add to this, Judah Wickhauer? Someone's trying to come in the studio. Why is he trying to come in the studio?
I could not tell you.
All right. That's the show. Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller, the I Love CVille Show on a Monday. Thank you kindly for watching and listening. So long, everybody.